Good morning, everybody. On behalf of the Air Conditioning and Mechanical Contractors Association of Australia and the BIMMEP Oz Project Board, a very warm welcome to the 2022 Construction Innovation Forum. On the screen, my name is there, Scott Williams, CEO of AMCA Australia, and I'm particularly excited to be welcoming you here to the forum today after some 2 years, of course, of not being able to come together. In fact, personally, this is my first Construction Innovation Forum, of course, joining in August of 2020. Also, if I can, a special acknowledgement to the audience here today. It was very, very important to come together. The BIM project board discussed, in fact, what we should do. Should it be an online virtual event only? But in fact, we're all very supportive that it was that time where we just needed to all come together again, collaborate, and of course, share our many conversations. Also, if I can, just to acknowledge our many online delegates from, of course, around the globe, as Charlie mentioned before. We're also joined by Japanese delegates who are listening to, as Charlie said, a translated service. So, konnichiwa, welcome, and thank you for joining us. Just need to advance there. I'd like to take a moment, if I can, and Charlie mentioned some of these before, but of course to acknowledge our much valued partners in this event. Our partners are so important to the success of this event. Firstly, if I can, to acknowledge Autodesk as our platinum sponsor, who have been a long-term supporter of this event. We certainly, at the AMCA and the BIMMEP Oz Project Board, we certainly acknowledge the generosity of Autodesk, and it's such a trusted partnership between the AMCA and Autodesk that, of course, has been formed over many years. Thank you also to our gold sponsor in Victolic. Victolic is a national partner of AMCA, a very good friend of the AMCA, and of course support many of our events across Australia. Also to our silver partners in PowerCAD, our bronze supporters in Reese, IncoLink, Revisco, VBiz, and also CR Kennedy. And also, if I can, just to acknowledge and thank our supporting partners in the Victorian State Government, the Office of Projects Victoria, IGS, and Building Smart Australasia. We certainly, again, just want to acknowledge and sincerely thank all of our partners for their contribution to make this event a success. If I can just very quickly, a quick update on BMA or BIMMEP Oz. Of course, we all know that it's a national initiative run by the AMCA to provide digital consistency across building services design, construction, and operational workflows. I extend my personal gratitude to the support of the BIMMEP Oz Project Board, in particularly supported by the following companies and individuals, and they are Alice Air Conditioning and Ian Pearce, Andrew O'Connor from O'Connor Services, and just to acknowledge the support of AG Coombs, and on behalf of the AMCA Australian National Board, Russell Telford, who is the chair of the BIMMEP Oz Board, also just the late Warwick Stammis. Since its establishment over 10 years ago, BIMMEP Oz has evolved and adapted to the ever-changing and dynamic environment of digital engineering in the construction industry, and of course continues to do so. Particularly over the past 12 months, BIMMEP Oz has undergone great transformation as we've moved the management, of course, of the initiative internally within the AMCA, which of course included the subscriptions, the manufacturer's content internally, enabling the AMCA to deliver a seamless and enhanced service to our subscribers. AMCA Australia recognises the importance, of course, of training and is developing a new framework to support the BIMMEP Oz community, incorporating industry needs and feedback into our strategy to ensure a consistent high level of delivery. Shannon Thomas today, our Executive Manager of BIMMEP Oz, you will hear from Shannon this afternoon, who will talk to you about some of the new exciting news and initiatives which are being considered within BIMMEP Oz. I'd like to pause, if I can, just for a moment, and I'd like to invite to the stage, if I can, Russell Telford. Russell, I mentioned before, is the project chair of the board, the BIMEPOS board, is the managing directors of COOM, is actually a national past president of AMCA Australia and a current director on our board. So, Russell, if you could please come forward just to say a few words. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott, and welcome everyone. It's great to see some faces in the room, and certainly the usual lead into events last night create the catalyst for the face-to-face and the socialisation that goes with BIMEPOS. And of course, welcome to all those joining us online. I've only got one fairly simple task today, and it's with a very heavy heart just to briefly talk about Warwick Stannis, the Technical Director of the BIMEPOS initiative. For those that know him, and can I first acknowledge Warwick's passing late Sunday evening in Australia after what has been a 15-year battle with lymphoma, with lots of remissions and different areas. But unfortunately, in all of that, Warwick's journey came to a pretty abrupt end. And there's probably not a better celebration than a BIMEPOS Construction Innovation Forum to start to celebrate Warwick's life. He was the initiator of the BIMEPOS initiative. He was the initiator of the Construction Innovation Forum in 2010. And for those that know Warwick, his generosity, his spirit, knowledge share, passion for what he did, his youthful enthusiasm to continually learn and share knowledge is just so unique. And he is literally the most selfless and courageous person you could ever meet. So it is really with a heavy heart that we just take a moment to acknowledge that. We're going to play a short video just on Warwick, and that'll conclude with a minute's silence. So again, welcome everyone, and please, in the spirit of Warwick, let's have a great conference. Thank you.
The building information modelling piece and the BIMEPOS journey goes back now nearly 15 years. The original initiative started with a discussion paper produced by Warwick Stannis of AG Coombs, and Warwick shared that paper with Mark Lowe, who was then the National President of AMCA. So the initiative was formed, initially led with Mark Lowe and Warwick, and went on to be ultimately what's known as the BIMEPOS Project Board. So now well and truly down the pathway of that initiative, and also advancing it really into very much a next generation is where we're at now.
Warwick was a very dear friend to many, many people in this room, and though only a very short time that I personally got to know Warwick, certainly my observations, the contribution he made to this industry was immeasurable. Russell mentioned a moment ago to honour Warwick. The best commitment, of course, from BIMEPOS is, of course, we all have a wonderful forum and, of course, make this our best yet. We're really excited about the high level of expertise and diversity in this year's lineup of speakers. And let me just advance my slides. Somebody has done that for me in the background. Thank you, automation works. But obviously really excited about the diversity of our speakers, which have assembled both locally and from international. This year's speakers will explore the growing digital twin space, how project managers can become more engaged in BIM, and how we continue to advance the construction innovation industry, of course, post the pandemic. We're certainly thankful to each speaker for their generosity, and we aim to share leading strategies and knowledge with you to enhance the way your organisations operate and identify new skills that will be in demand for employees. It is through the adoption and practical use of technology, combined with an appetite for positive change and collaboration, that will allow our industry to progress, especially as we look to understand the nature of society and people's interaction with buildings now and into the future. Finally, we would like to thank you all for attending. We wish you all have an informative and enjoyable forum as we deliver, as I said before, the first event in quite a few years, but also the first hybrid event for our organisation, where it combines both in-person attendance, of course, with live streaming and the many of you viewing around the world.